Hello again. In the local elections held in this country in May, voters were legally required to take their passports or driving licences with them to the polling station, something previously unheard of in Britain. This new law was a result of corrupt practices by politicians of Pakistani heritage. Visitors to Britain from practically any other country in the world used to be amazed at the informality of our elections and ask what safeguards there were against somebody impersonating another voter and so on. The answer was that there were none, and the idea was absolutely unheard of in Britain. We didn't even need such safeguards. In Northern Ireland, of course, the situation was slightly different, but I'm speaking now of England, Wales and Scotland. No political party in those countries would ever or had ever thought of corrupt practices. This relaxed way of voting had until this year been the practice here since Victorian times. It could not, of course, last forever with large numbers of immigrants from Pakistan and Bangladesh, where electoral malpractice is, so to speak, in the blood. Just as with our banking system, property laws and financial arrangements, some of those from these two countries saw a golden opportunity for fraud, and the sight of such things as bank accounts and voting in general elections operating merely on mutual trust and an assumption of honesty, they proceeded to swindle and cheat any and all systems as much as was humanly possible. This is, of course, why, although 40 years ago it was possible to walk into a bank and open an account that same day without any identification at all, these days the regulations make the business immensely complicated. The same thing has happened with voting. Once some sharp Pakistanis and Bengalis found that our electoral system was so easily open to fraud, they got stuck in. One or two examples will show how this worked. In 2008, Mohammed Chowdhury, the former mayor of Peterborough, was sent to prison for a conspiracy involving vote rigging. Two other men, Maqbul Hussain and Tariq Mahmood, were also sent to prison for the same fraud, which involved stealing postal votes and proxy votes. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item reporting this case. Because nobody in this country had ever dreamt of doing such a thing, there were no safeguards to prevent unscrupulous and dishonest people from exploiting the system in this way. This was bad, but there was worse to come. In 2014, a Bengali man called Mohammed Lutfur Rahman was elected mayor of the London borough of Tower Hamlets. The following year, he was removed from office when an election court found that he was guilty of corrupt or illegal practices, or both, in connection with the election. He was barred from standing for office for 7 years, and because he was incredibly a solicitor, he was struck off. I give a link in the description to this video to the Wikipedia article on this man. Where do you suppose Mohammed Lutfur Rahman is today? Why, he's mayor of the London borough of Tower Hamlets, of course. It was cases of this kind which led to the passing of a law requiring the presentation of photographic identification at polling stations. There are, of course, other tricks which have been imported from the Indian subcontinent in this connection, such as family voting. In this racket, a man will arrive at a polling station with his wife and other relatives. He then collects all the ballot papers for them and supervises them as they vote in the way that he directs. This is illegal, but of course the people at the voting booths and the polling station don't like to object in case they're accused of racism. This is very common practice, by the way, in Newham and Tower Hamlets. Then too, there is posting people to hang around outside the polling station, who will, as soon as they see an Asian-looking voter coming their way, offer to accompany them inside to help them vote in the right way. This is also illegal and also often ignored. In this way, an electoral system which was once world famous for relying entirely on honesty and trust has been comprehensively sabotaged by foreign immigrants and will never be the same again.